Hey everyone, welcome to my Deep Stone Crypt guide series. My name is Mactics and I'm here to teach you all about the crypt. I also do Sherpa runs of the raid on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Mactics, so feel free to stop by at any time to see the raid run live or to try and win a raffle to come run the raid with us yourself. Okay, let's talk about the third encounter, Descent. The objective of the third encounter is to arm 6 pairs of nuclear cores to open the hatch that lets you get to safety and successfully complete the encounter. Before starting the encounter, you should split up into 3 teams of 2 players per team, with each team being responsible for a specific augment: operator, scanner, and suppressor. Upon starting the encounter, you will have to combat a wave of adds that spawn all around the room from different spawn doors. Amongst these adds are 3 specific vandals: the Hacker Vandal, which drops the Scanner Augment, the Suppressor Vandal, which drops the Suppressor Augment, and the Operator Vandal, which drops the Operator Augment. One person from each team should pick up their respective augments and wait for the encounter to progress after killing the initial wave of adds. Once it comes time to arm the nuclear cores, a sound cue of an alarm will play. Upon this sound cue, the 3 people with the augments each have a specific job to do. The person with the scanner augment has to look at the 4 nuclear core depositories in the middle and call out which 2 of the 4 are glowing yellow. These are the nuclear core depositories that the nuclear cores must be deposited into. Next, the person with the suppressor augment has to stun the boss from 3 locations on the map, turning the offline nuclear core depositories online upon damaging the boss at the 3rd location. Turning a nuclear core depository online allows a nuclear core to be deposited into it. The 3 locations are top left on a ledge overlooking the cockpit, down in the middle next to the rally flag, and top right on a platform overlooking the cockpit. These 3 locations are easily distinguishable by the floating ball which you must stand under when shooting the boss. To stun the boss, simply start at one of the 3 locations, shoot the boss, and repeat for the next 2 locations. It is easiest to start either top left or top right, and then go in a line from one side down to middle and then to the other side. Finally, the person with the operator augment has to spawn in the nuclear cores by shooting an operator keypad on a wall while it glows red. There are 4 keypad locations, and 2 of them light up when the alarm cue goes off. The operator must simply shoot one of these 2 keypads, and 2 nuclear cores will spawn in. The keypads are located on the far left and right walls, while the other 2 keypads are in the middle on the sides of the tank above the spawn flag. Now that we have covered what the players with the augments do, let's take a look at what the other players in the encounter do. The remaining 3 players must position themselves in such a way that they are able to grab any nuclear core when it spawns on the map. Failing to grab a nuclear core within 10 seconds wipes the entire encounter. The most efficient way to set this up is to have one person stationed far left, one stationed far right, and one in middle. It is important to note that the nuclear core spawn locations are the same as the operator keypad locations. Once the operator shoots the glowing red keypad, 2 nuclear cores will spawn in at any 2 of the 4 locations. The person stationed far left must be ready to grab the far left nuclear core if it spawns. The person on far right must do the same, while the person in mid should be ready to grab the nuclear core that may spawn in middle. If both nuclear cores spawn in mid, one of the players on the left or right can come and grab the other nuclear core in the middle. Once the nuclear cores are grabbed, the players must take them and deposit them in the 2 nuclear core depositories in middle that the scanner called out. Remember that these nuclear core depositories are only open after the suppressor has fully stunned the boss. When a player is holding a nuclear core, they receive a debuff called Radiation on the left side of their screen. This debuff stacks up while holding the nuclear core and will kill the player if it reaches 10 stacks. The goal is to deposit the nuclear core in the appropriate location before the stack reaches 10. But if extra time is needed, another player who is not currently holding a nuclear core can approach the player with the nuclear core and hold interact while next to them. This allows the player to take the nuclear core from the original holder, stopping their radiation debuff and starting their own radiation debuff on themselves since they are now holding the nuclear core. The nuclear core can be passed around as much as needed to prevent a player from dying to radiation, but you must be careful because the radiation debuff still remains on you once the nuclear core is taken away. Once both nuclear cores are deposited, the phase resets and you have to repeat the steps 5 more times. Remember how we split into teams of 2 in the beginning? This is where it comes in handy. Every time the boss is completely stunned by the suppressor, one of the players with an augment will receive a deactivated augment in place of their original. This means that their augment is no longer usable and must be passed on to another player at an augmentation terminal to be used properly. If you deposit a deactivated augment into an augmentation terminal, you will receive the Augment Lockout debuff for 45 seconds, which prevents you from picking up any augments. There are 3 augmentation terminals in this room, one on the left, one in middle, and one on the right. Once a player's augment gets deactivated, they must communicate with the other person on their team and swap the augment between themselves at an augmentation terminal. They then swap roles until they have to switch again, or until the end of the encounter. Once all 6 phases are complete, all 6 players must stand in the middle next to the flag and drop down the hatch that opens between the nuclear core depositories. Once down, they must run down the hallway to the safe room before the door closes. If at least one person makes it to the safe room, the encounter will progress and finally complete once they open the chest.
Well, the ship falls down, we...
Wait, we're in a ship?
Well, if you're in an elevator, are you going down or is the elevator?
We really aren't in a elevator going down. It's pretty fucking simple.
But you're not also going down?
It's like this water wedge, or no.
No, I'm not sure one. What?
That's so close. I should have waited. I should have waited another second for you to actually put it in your mouth.
I don't even know what he said. All I could hear was German bun. Absolutely freaking out over his fucking.
He pushed me out.
Yeah.
So is there any way to avoid death there? Cause
yeah. Don't die.
Yeah, my bad.
He took our abilities away.
I'm still
Armor,
great.
armor, armor. Cloak.
Another fucking shotgun.
I'll start with scanning.